Good shot. Oh my!
Here to celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the R.W. Cup champions, are going to Coburn.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburn Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
Evans bumping, they score! Frank Poche, the game winner, and the Buckland Cup winner!
Well, round 2 of the OJHL playoffs has kicked off. The final 8 went toe-to-toe in their quest to advance to the Buckland Cup final. All the highlights are coming right up. This is the OJ Today. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Alex Bastivansky. Broadcaster Alan Corkum will join me later on in the show as we're going to review what went down in the first round of the postseason, where one top seed bit the dust. But first, OJ game highlights, and the squad responsible for that aforementioned opening round upset was the Wellington Dukes, who took down the East #1 seed, the Coburn Cougars. Now, the Cats were the 18th ranked team in all of Canada, but the Dukes punted them aside in a shockingly easy fashion, taking them out in just 5 games. Waiting for the Dukes in round 2 was another squad that finished above them in the regular season, the Whitby Fury. Game 1 went last week. OJ highlights now brought to you by Hilton Hotels. Hilton, the official hotel of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. The East Division was the toughest in the OJHL this season, and these two squads are battling to see who will take the crown. And on this day, it was Wellington hitting first. First frame, Ben Woodhouse to Andrew Rinaldi, 1-0. Dukes at the other end, Logan Bateman was a brick wall, stoning the Fury several times, and that continued in the second frame. Here he flashes the leather to deny Dakota Betts. Luke Pearson was no slouch in the Whitby goal at the other end. Comes up with a big stop here to rob Daniel Panetta. Third period, Dawson Ellis comes up with the monster solo effort, steals it, waltzes in, and money. Shorthanded. 2-0 Dukes, and they weren't done. Frank Vitucci, the second effort, in it goes, and that gives the Dukes a bit of insurance. Andrew Rinaldi would add one more late as Wellington spanks Whitby in Game 1 to draw first blood. Oakville hosted Buffalo in Game 1 out west. The Blades heavily favored in this one, and they looked the part. First goal, bit of puck luck as it pinballs past Caleb Hannon. Blades jump out to the 1-0 lead. The Sabres weren't going down without a fight, though. Second frame, Ty Glover will receive and go top shelf past Will Barber to knot it up at 1 apiece heading into the final stanza. The Blades would take control, however. On the power play, Thomas Maya will receive and rip the twine. Gorgeous shot, and the Blades retake the lead up 2-1, and then late in the period, it will be Jack Ricketts with the wrister. Hannon can't seem to find it. In it goes, and that would prove to be enough for Oakville in Game 1 as they hold on to take down the Sabres by a 3-1 count. We head south now. Game 1 between North York and St. Mike's, and the Rangers draw first blood. Ross Krieger, the point shot, and I can guarantee you Sebastian Labora saw none of that in the crease. North York leads 1-0 at the break. Second period, the Buzzers get sloppy behind their net, and you just can't do that with the Rangers. They will punish you, and there's the evidence. Ashton Stocky bulges the twine. North York goes up by a deuce. St. Mike's had a plethora of good chances, but the difference maker was Jet Alexander, the OJHL's goalie of the year, coming up big time and time again, turning aside 31 buzzer shots on the afternoon. Final 20, he kept it going. Beautiful stop here on the wraparound attempt, getting the pad down just in time. Shortly after, with the buzzer net empty, Austin Brimmer will lay it in to the open cage to seal the deal as the Rangers stifle the double blue in Game 1, shutting them out by a 3-0 count. Okay, let's head north. Number 1 Markham hosting number 2 Newmarket. Game 1, a defensive gem, no scoring until the second frame. Nicholas Cerrone gets the party started as the Canes go up 1-0 off that tally right there. Mitchell Weeks was coming up huge between the pipes for Newmarket. 27 stops on the day to stifle the home squad. It was 1-0 after 40. Final frame, Markham desperately trying to nab the equalizer. Adam Trotman steals it though and seals it for the Canes as Newmarket waltzes into the kingdom and draws first blood, downing the Royals 2-0 to take the series lead. OJ Commitments brought to you by Warrior Hockey. Warrior, official partner of the OJ Today and the OJHL Game of the Week. And Peyton Reeves has been the consummate leader for the Oakville Blades, and he's been justly rewarded. He had offers, but waited until he found the one he really wanted, and Peyton has committed to Division I UMass for this coming fall. Now, Reeves was named team captain for the Blades this season, and he racked up 44 points in 44 regular season games. Congratulations, Peyton. Well deserved. Brian Zarowski of the Brantford 99ers has committed to the Geneseo Knights for this fall. The native of West Seneca, New York, is headed home for school. Brian had 56 points in 52 games this year to lead the team in scoring by a wide margin. Congratulations, Brian, and good luck as a Knight. OJ Trivia this week brought to you by Cool Sports. Cool, the official apparel provider to the OJHL. And the question is, who was just named the 2018-19 OJHL Defenseman of the Year? Who was it? The first correct answer to our Morocco at the OJHL.ca wins a cool prize pack. This segment of the OJ Today is brought to you by Cliff Bar. Cliff Bar, the official energy bar of the OJHL. Hey everybody, welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, things started out as expected for the Oakville Blades in their second round series against the Buffalo Junior Sabres. Now, Oakville was the third-ranked team in the nation this year and finished the regular season 29 points ahead of the Sabres out in the West Division. So a 3-1 opening game victory against the Americans was par for the course. But the Sabres served notice in Game 2, back on home ice, that the series isn't going to be a cakewalk for the OJ's regular season champions. And the Sabres did something in Game 2 that has been near impossible this season. They kept Oakville off the board. Just one goal scored for the entire game. It comes courtesy some fancy passing by the Sabres. Adam Tredowitz finishes out front, and that would prove to be the decider as the Sabres batten down the hatches and hold off the Blades to even the series. However, that appeared to poke the sleeping bear as Oakville was an angry bunch in Game 3. The Blades were shut out just twice during the regular season. They were firing on all cylinders. No scoring until the second when the floodgates open. Jack Ricketts on the doorstep makes it 1-0 for the home squad. 9 minutes later, Caleb Hannon will make the initial stop here. Kyle Potts scoops up the rebound and he fires it home. The Blades led 2-0 after 40 minutes of play. And they'd add 4 more in the final frame to cruise to the big 6-1 win over the Junior Sabres at 16 Mile Arena. Okay, Whitby was looking to even up their series with Wellington after dropping Game 1, but it's the Dukes that hit first. Ben Addison with the nice move coming up right here. Then he pulls the trigger, beats Luke Pearson, and Wellington leads 1-0. Whitby hits back, however, in the dying seconds of the first, and it's the captain, Greg Smith. He just keeps at it until he finally pokes it past Logan Bateman. Now, the Dukes were incensed that the whistle should have gone, they thought, but no dice. 1-1 at the break. Second period action. Whitby on the 3-on-1 here. Dakota Betts will take and rip it past Bateman. That's a power play marker. And Whitby takes its first lead of the series against the defending Buckland Cup champions, and they would add some insurance. And it's off a pretty little passing play here as the Fury will receive the puck and then go tic-tac-toe. Carson Gallagher with the marker to increase their advantage. And that would prove to be all the scoring they would need on this day as Whitby downs the Dukes on the road to even up the East Division final at 1 game apiece. Okay, Markham was looking to bounce back against Newmarket after dropping Game 1. And this was a wild one. The Royals get things going, 4-12 in. Dylan Shriver with the howitzer that beats Mitchell Weeks as Markham takes its first lead of the series with that goal. It was short-lived though. Just a minute and a half later, Newmarket execute the 2-on-1 to perfection. The Gasperis to Adam Trotman, and they were all tied up at 1 apiece. And then it's Graham McCrory with the solo effort here. And watch as he comes around the net. Looks like he catches Andrew Albano by surprise. The bad angle shot finds daylight. Ouch. Canes jump out to the 2-1 lead. Back comes Markham, though. Great work by Luca Esposito. Dances past the defender, feeds Ryan Rosborough, and once again, they were all tied up. It was a 2-2 hockey game, but still in the first period. Jacob King. Strong effort behind the net here. He gets it to Jacob Balboza, and Balboza makes it 3-2 for the Hurricanes. But once again, Markham would respond. At first, it looks like the danger is nullified as it gets disrupted right there. But then, Braden Aubin picks it up, hits Devin Maye out front, all tied up. 3-3 after 20 minutes of play. Second period, Markham takes the advantage on the power play. Aubin will receive and go top shelf. And the man who finished second in the OJ scoring race makes it 4-3. Back and forth they went. The whole game. Was this the chaos play of the week? I think it might just be. Nicholas Cerrone turning on the Jets, splits the D. Gorgeous 4-4 after 2 periods. Final frame now. Newmarket wins it with just 31 seconds remaining. Adam Trotman, the dagger, rips the heart out of Markham. The Canes take it by a 5-4 count to take a 2-0 advantage in the North. Okay, some big news. Oakville Blades head coach Mike Tarantino has been named the OJ's Coach of the Year. Tarantino led the Blades to the Brant Snow Memorial Trophy as the league's regular season champions. Oakville sported a 44-5-2-4 record and finished as the third-ranked team in all of Canada. A Blades alumnus, Tarantino has been behind the bench of the club since 2014-15 and has long been considered one of the brightest young coaches in the league. Congratulations, Mike. And this will warm his heart even more. Another Blades NCAA commitment, Garrett Pike, the OJ's leading scorer among defensemen this season, has just committed to the University of Alaska Fairbanks for next fall. He'll join teammate Harrison Israels at the Northern School. Congrats. And Steve McLean, the giant 6'7" defenseman for the Aurora Tigers, has committed to the Laurier Golden Hawks for next fall. McLean was named team captain this year and had a breakout season with 28 points in 58 games. Alumni update brought to you by Jostens, the official ring and awards provider to the OJHL. And 3 former OJHLers have received awards in the NCAA's Atlantic Hockey Conference. Alex Tonge of the Robert Morris Colonials has been named to the second team. Tonge racked up 18 goals and 19 assists for 37 points in his 4th season with the squad. He previously played with Kingston. Former Wellington Duke Abbott Gerdukis was also named to the second team. He's now with the RIT Tigers and put up 11 goals and 25 assists in his 4th season down south. Gerdukis had 3 excellent years with the Dukes from 2012 through 2015. And finally, Noah Delmas was named to the 3rd team. Delmas is plying his trade with the Niagara Purple Eagles these days. This year he had 40 points to average just over a point per game. He played parts of 3 seasons with the Aurora Tigers from 2013 through 16. Congratulations, guys. This week's OJ interview brought to you by Barnburner Hockey. Barnburner, official partner of the OJHL Game of the Week and the OJ Today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the OJ Today, and joining me now via Skype is Cogeco broadcaster Alan Corkum to help do a quick review of what exactly went down in the first round of the playoffs. Alan, welcome back. First time we've had you on in the postseason, buddy.
Appreciate it, Alex. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Well, we've only got one segment, so we can't get too deep into every series as we would like to do, but in the first round, let's start off in the Southeast Conference and South Division. First, the North York Rangers do what was expected by rolling past the Junior Canadians, while the Patriots in St. Mike's, wow, they turned in an absolutely epic 7-gamer, didn't they?
Yes, they did. First off, as you said, the North York Rangers showed their dominance. They were upset, though, in the first game. A good shutout for Christian Mattiacci, 3-0. But then the Rangers found their groove. The veterans got going. Top goalie, Jed Alexander, played well. And, yeah, they rolled to 4 straight victories to win that series in 5 games. And, yes, the Patriots-Buzzers series, what a series. The Buzzers were handed with some adversity right off the bat when their top goaltender, Jack Watson, was injured and couldn't start the series. But Sebastian Labor came in and did yeoman's work. What an outstanding performance for him. He fought through thick and thin to keep the Buzzers in it, and they ultimately won the series in 7 games, but not without some adversity for them as well. You had the big Game 6 overtime victory for the Patriots at home to send us to a 7th game. Just the Buzzers veterans came through in this. You had Cameron Searles, you had their big scorer, Colton Trumbull, who averaged a goal a game in the regular season, showed his dominance in the playoffs, and can't forget about the Alexander brothers as well. Jonah and Ryan also playing hard in this series, and kudos to St. Mike's for a big win, and kudos to the Patriots for giving him a great fight.
Yeah, it was a great one, no question about it. In the East, Whitby takes down Trenton in 6 games for their first playoff series win, I should say, since the Devon Shore-led squad back in 2012, while the Wellington Dukes pulled what had to be the shocker of the first round, taking down rivals Coburg in just 5 games.
Yeah, absolute shocking. But yeah, first, the young Whitby Fury squad, inexperienced in the playoffs, but a great playoff win over playoff veterans Trenton, led by goalie Luke Pearson. Very young, but he was calm under pressure, got the job done. And some of those key additions, Nick Lund and Derek McVeigh, came through along with Greg Smith to lead Whitby to victory in the first round. Then with the Wellington Dukes, what a surprise, but they're the champs. They were the Buckland Cup champions last year, won to Dudley, and were 1 game away from the RBC. And until somebody beats them, Alex, they're still the champions. They showed it in this series, downing a nationally ranked team, the 18th team, I believe, in the country, Coburg, in 5 games. He led by their veteran line. You had Tyson Gilmore, Elijah Gonzalez, and then you can't forget about Andrew Naldi, who was there last year. Great job by Wellington to just cruise through Coburg in 5 games. If anybody saw this happening, they might have said maybe a 7-game series win for Wellington, but not 5 games. A big shock for Jerome Dupont squad to fall so easily to the Dukes.
I think what turned the table really was game 4 with Coburg up 3-0 and 4-2, with they up to a 3-0 lead, and Wellington storms back, wins in the last minute of play. That was it. I mean, that was it, and that was in game 4, pardon me. Then going back to game 5 in Coburg, they were just completely deflated, no question about it. Let's move to the Northwest, where there were no big shockers, I think we could safely say. Starting in the West Division, Oakville does what was expected of them by making short work of Brampton, while Buffalo took down Burlington in what was another dramatic 7-gamer that you had a front seat for.
Yeah, it was a great series. Yeah, speaking of the Oakville Blaze, they showed their dominance in that series over Brampton, downing them in 5 games. Give the Admirals credit, they did win 1 game, but the story of this series was Will Barber. In his 4 starts, 4-0, a .75 goals against. He was just outstanding, along with that very good offensive team in Oakville. They just showed their dominance. Yeah, for the Buffalo-Burlington series, what a series that was. I had a front-hand view of Game 6 on your TV calling it. In Burlington, a big comeback. Buffalo were up 4-1. Looked like they were home cool to win the series, but then the Burlington Cougars came back, a late goal in the second, 2 in the third, and then the big winner from Jack Harper sent that down to Buffalo, but the Cougars couldn't carry momentum over into Game 7, and the Sabres took down the Cougars 5-2 in Game 7. But yeah, the home team won every game in that series, and a big reason why for Buffalo was Ty Glover. He had an outstanding series for Buffalo.
And finally, the North Division, we got about 2 minutes here, Alan, to talk about it, but Georgetown wins its way in through that crossover game against Pickering, but ends up going down to Markham in 6 emotional games, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But while Newmarket finally just puts Aurora out of its misery, taking them down in 5.
Yeah, it was quite the year for the Georgetown Raiders. A year of transition. They had a new ownership, new coach GM and Scott McCrory, and they really took their time to get their legs going, but they get that big win over Pickering. And in the first round, they gave Markham all they could handle. But I think the key to this series was that the home and road for Markham. Andrew Albano only let 1 goal up in his 3 home starts, was outstanding. But he seemed to struggle a little bit in his games in Georgetown. The veterans coming through for both teams. And then that controversial Game 6, I have to say, that tying goal, I still don't know how that counted, whichever team you are. But hey, that's what happens. The hockey gods, I guess, have something to say about that. And then the Royals win.
Albano, I agree with you what you're saying, but I mean, in playing in Georgetown, but that Game 6 in Georgetown, he is the reason that they won. He was absolutely outstanding in that game, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He came through when he needed him for sure. And the Georgetown goalies were no slouches either.
No.
Poulin and Torp split the duties. But yeah, Andrew Albano definitely the difference in the series, especially in those 3 games in Markham and then down the stretch in the overtime against Georgetown in Game 6 to clinch the deal for the Royals.
Really quick, 50 seconds less than Newmarket Aurora, and Newmarket takes him down at 5.
Yeah, the tailspin of the Tigers continued. They only won 4 of their last 25 games. They lost that 4 overtime game in Game 1 in Newmarket. And I think that was the difference, just took the wind of their sails, and they couldn't recover. And kudos to Newmarket and Mitchell Weeks. The goaltending was just superb for the Hurricanes.
A really unfortunate. Aurora losing, 21 of their last 25 games in the second half of the season. I don't think I've ever seen an OJ team do that kind of a collapse. It's so unfortunate. Aurora's a great organization. They were doing so well. But Newmarket, as I said, putting them out of their misery. That's the only way you can really describe it at the end. Alan, thanks so much, buddy. We'll have you on again throughout the playoffs to do another review. Love your expertise, buddy. Thanks so much.
Sounds great, Alex. Thank you.
More OJ Today coming up in just a moment. This segment of the OJ Today is brought to you by Troy Hockey Apparel. Troy, the official jersey of the OJHL. Hey everybody, welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, arguably the most dominant team in the playoffs through the midway point of the second round was the North York Rangers. Now, in round 1, NYR had dispatched the Junior Canadians in just 5 games, but were expected to be given a stiffer test from the St. Mike's Buzzers. However, the Rangers had simply stifled the Double Blue in round 2, and with 3 straight wins heading into Tuesday night, they had the brooms out with a chance to sweep. We're going to show you Game 3 first. North York with a chance to put a stranglehold on the series. St. Mike's knew that, and they came out gunning. Ayrton Martino with the deflection off the point shot. That beats Jet Alexander, and it was 1-0 for the Buzzers. Just before the intermission, great work by Cam Searles here to get the puck out front. Drake LaFontaine will poke it home, and the Double Blue lead 2-0 at the break. However, it was all Rangers from that point on. On the power play, Dante Fantuzzi will wrap home the rebounds, right in the doorstep to cut the deficit down to a single goal. 9 minutes later, once again, Rangers with the man advantage, and they win the draw, and it's Fantuzzi from the exact same spot, right on the doorstep. Carbon copy of the first goal, and they were even Steven, 2-2 after 40 minutes of play. North York would pull away in the final stanza. Cole O'Hara feeds Alexander de Koning out front, and the Rangers had their first lead of the contest, and then the icing on the cake in the final couple of minutes. Graydon Gottschalk hits the empty net to make it a 4-2 final. Just too much firepower on this Rangers team. They would go on to take Game 4 as well at St. Mike's by a 4-3 count to complete the sweep as North York is the South Division champion. Okay, Wellington headed to Whitby for Game 3 with the series tied 1-1. This one, all fury. First frame, Derek McVeigh opens the scoring, 7:32 in, and as you're about to see, Derek had a game. Second stanza, McVeigh sneaks one past Logan Bateman for his second of the day, and it was 2-0. The Dukes nearly hit back. Zach Nelson goes ping, rings it off the iron. They just couldn't buy one. Whitby, they were clicking though. Ian McKinnon hits the streaking Noah Dallo, and that made it 3-0 for the Fury. 2.5 minutes later, Whitby with the steal. Jacob DiDanelli for McVeigh, and that is the Hattie. 3 tallies for Derek, and it was still early in the second frame. Logan Bateman got replaced by Kyle Renaud between the posts. Nothing Bateman could have done about that, though. And then it was Whitby on the power play, and DiDanelli has the rude welcome for Renaud as he rips it past the new keeper. Whitby in the driver's seat leading 5-0. Finally, the Dukes do notch one. Brett Humberstone will poke it past Luke Pearson to break the shutout bid. 5-1 after 2 periods. Final stanza, Nick Papadopoulos spanks it off Renaud and in to add to the rout, and it was 6-1 at that point. It was a total team effort by Whitby as they were blocking all kinds of shots on the day. Noah Bull felt that one. Ouch. But the Fury come up with a massive 6-1 win. After the game, 3-goal man McVeigh said those blocked shots were a huge reason for the victory.
So I think our team's commitment to defense is the best in the league. We got so many guys that block shots, sacrifice their body, get the puck out, and that's where all the offense starts from getting the puck out of our own end quickly. We have more time with the puck, we have more opportunities to score. So it all starts with that shot blocking from guys like Noah, Jelly, and Benny blocking shots big time. Huge for us.
Okay, one more game. Markham was trying desperately not to fall into a 3-0 series hole against Newmarket. Unfortunately for them, that's just what happened. No scoring until the third. Sheldon Nolan fires it past Albano to make it 1-zip Canes. And then in the dying seconds with the Markham net empty, Cole Halloran works hard to get the insurance marker. Boy, oh boy, Markham sticks have gone silent at the wrong time as they get shut out for the second time in the series and go down 3-0. Okay, a reminder, the third annual OJHL Combine is fast approaching. Registration is now open. It runs April 4th through the 7th at the Campus Ice Center in Oshawa. The purpose of the Combine is to provide players an opportunity to showcase their skills to all 22 OJHL clubs. Each player is guaranteed 3 games with real-time scoring. The event is open to players born in 2001 through 2004. Last year saw numerous players go on to sign with OJHL clubs as either full-time or affiliate players. OJHLcombines.ca for more information. The Chaos Top 5 brought to you by Chaos, the official hat provider to the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Number 5, Buffalo and Oakville. Game number 2. Beautiful passing by the Sabres as they go tic-tac-toe. Adam Trudowitz with the finish out front, the only goal of the game. Number 4, same series, game 1, Thomas Maya. He's been doing this all season for the Blades. The gorgeous snipe, part of a game 1. Blades win. Number 3, Markham and Newmarket. The Royals, Luca Esposito, doing all the heavy lifting, feeds Ryan Rosborough. Sweet play. Number 2, Dawson Ellis of Wellington against Whitby. Short-handed, no less. The steal and the strike. Gorgeous, part of a 3-1 Wellington Game 1 victory. And number 1, Newmarket's Nicholas Cerrone turns on the Jets and splits the Markham D and then deposits with a nice backhander. Are you kidding me? What an effort. And watch it again as he just lowers his head and bowls his way right through before flicking it past keeper Andrew Albano. Beautiful, and that is our Chaos Play of the Week. And we are all out of time for today, but just remember to keep up to date with the league all throughout the playoffs. You can always head to ojhl.ca, and of course, all of your social media options right there for you to check out as well. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.